Hello, people, places, all zero of you. Zero. But hello. I can still be polite to all zero. Or the one random person that, like, watches these religiously. It's just like, whoa. I've got to listen to this person while I sleep, because they have a voice, or something like that. I don't know what you do with your life, but I will only judge it a little bit. Because everyone judges me, so I might as well judge back, right? We all judge sometimes. What do I want to name this? Proofreading story. I'm going to try to just focus on proofreading only. It'll be a lot of talking, but I would like to get this story done. So, hello, hi, yo, hola, bonjour, Gomenasari? No. That's arigato, right? Yeah. I don't know why I said sorry. Twice. But, yeah, I'm gonna try and proofread all of this. Shouldn't be too bad. It's like 20 pages. And I'm pretty sure it's not actually 20 pages. Like, it's only this length because of the spacing I did for it. I updated my, notes for my D&D stuff a bit. Everything should be good there. Okay, so, yeah, I am going to save. Crack the knuckles, open up our favorite program, Grammarly. That is not actually our favorite program, it's just sort of a means to an end. Okay, so, we have Jean, we have Pyra, we have Weiss, we have weird cat creature thing, and we have Penny. So we have 5 characters. Oh wait, and we have technically a Ruby. So that would be 6 characters. And then we have the narrator, which is technically just Jean. So Jean and the narrator can be the same in this story, if we so desire. Which I guess would make sense. Just listing it out in my head. Think how I'm gonna do this one. I usually just read and then whisper. This is more of a normal story, so I don't think I'm gonna have any awkward things in it. There's a mention of a breast in there, but most of it's pretty just yep, still dude. Chest is a bit puffy. Like that. And that's more hammered in at the end. Okay, so let's see. The Maiden's Curse. Do you believe in destiny? What is destiny? Effort, strength, optimistic attitude, and a power to move forward? The power to move forward? Is destiny good or bad? How many questions can be asked about it? Drip, drip, drip. A blood-soaked sword, and cheeks with stained tears. Is that destiny too? Drip, drip, drip. John had no answers to such questions. He feels plenty, though. His gloved hands quiver against the hilt of his sword. His blonde hair brushes against his brow, moist from sweat. Plenty to feel. John's blue eyes stare blankly down, unblinking. He could feel everything now. But he could still also feel the salty taste against his lips. Would his tears even mean anything? All the young man cared to do was speak up. Say something, do something. His voice, however, only quivers and shakes. Usual optimism in it. Gone. What? What was the point? Drip. 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 The corpse under John would not get back up. It would not laugh, cry, or even get mad. It had no life. Penny has no life. And now, never will. Clang. John's sword hits the ground. In his hands, it just felt too heavy. What now? All around him, you could still hear some shouting, screaming. People run behind him, entering into a portal. Entering a portal. From the looks of it, the last few were managing to escape. The enemy, Cinder, was coming for him. Winter, too, was shouting. How do I want to say this? This seems wrong. Winter, too, was shouting an ally to come to his aid. What? I think this is what I want. Winter, too, was shouting. She was trying to come to his aid. Despite that, his body felt unmovable. He killed someone, not just a robot, an actual person that bled blood. First fire destroyed Penny. And now John killed her. And now John killed her for good. First fire destroyed Penny, and now he killed her. And now he killed her for good. Was it the world's way of making some sick joke? He feels a copper taste, brushes lips. His teeth were digging into his lips too hard. How long had passed? Felt like hours, but apparently it was only seconds ticking by. Was doing this the right choice? If he was younger... if he was younger. No. If he was stronger, he could have just carried Penny through the portal. What if only he could, he should, he didn't? And then... rumble, 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 rumble. The ground under John shakes. The golden platform suspended in the black void around him began to fall, turn to dust. Shouting, please. John hears it. But... it's just murmurs on his ears. John hears it, but it's just murmuring. To his ears? His knees hit against the ground. His knees hit the ground, and his head gingerly brushes hilt of his sword. Not even a full-grown adult, and he managed to kill another human. Yeah, John, you got your body count up. Good for you. Boom. There's actually a boom sound effect. Boom. The platform he was on now shakes, rumbles, and snaps. His eyes flicker with some life. Someone had shot at him. With what strength he has in his arm, he covers Penny's body to shield it. Maybe it was a reflex, or guilt, but he squeezes the girl's lifeless body close. Then the platform vanishes from under him. His hands gather the sword and Penny close, and they fall. They fall till they too vanish to dust. Thud. Just a good meaty thud. Thud. Great. John's head hits against the ground. Hits the ground. And his eyes squint, but only a white expanse is there to greet him. Carefully, he breathes, still feeling his chest push in, then out. Where? He softly murmurs out the words. Sitting up slowly, his sword was not with him, nor his armor, nor even Penny. Did I die too? A cold air brushes against John's back. Cold air brushes against John's back. And a few auburn colored leaves blow with it, gently falling on his feet. Squeezing his fingers against his palm, John turns around and sees a girl staring back at him. Long orange hair, bright green eyes, pale skin, a simple white top with green suspender skirt. The girl smiles softly and waves her hand. Salutations, John! It was Penny. No blood, no cuts in her clothes, no hole in her heart. I had never thought to meet here, though if I was picked, then you two can be. And you too can be. Then, well, you too can be. Yeah, that sounds fine. It's fine enough. It's fine enough. Rubbing his eyes, John carefully walks up to Penny. You... His voice still... His voice still shaky. His voice still shakes. His voice still shakes. If he talked too much, he knew he would cry. How... Is this real? With each step John takes... With each step... With each step, he gets closer to Penny. And she seems to get further away. With each step... With each step, he feels his heart begin to sink more. This isn't real after all. Blinking one eye after the other, Penny shakes her head. Her voice filled with her usual cheerful tone. John, it's all right. I asked for this. You helped me. And you're always very helpful. Reaching her hand out. In an attempt of comfort, Penny's eyes soften, noticing she too cannot get close. This place is for the Maiden's power. I've been here myself, for the previous Winter Maiden. That's why we can talk for now, for a little while. John falls to his butt, staring down at the blank white ground. Why me, then? Why talk to me? I can't have the maiden power. The only thing I've done for you, Penny, is kill you. Always good. Oh, did I get the bot right away? Yeah, I got the bot right away. Like, do they just, like, stalk you? Or, like, what? Or do they look if you, like, have a chat link somehow open? And go, ooh, chat link, what this? Like, chat thing on your OBS or whatever. But, that's for dramatic effect, so that's fine. That formatting is correct grammarly. You're just dumb. They both pause for a long while. Penny fidgets her fingers, pressing them together and spreading them out, swaying back and forth. Even she seemed to have trouble finding words. The power is already yours. She says it softly, closing her eyes for a few moments. You're the new Winter Maiden. You're who I thought of last. A kind soul. Not someone who is born to have the power. Not someone who craves it. Someone who just wants to help. The air of the white space felt colder. John bites at his lip again, his eyes glancing at Penny. He doubts she could lie, even if she wanted to. But could not help but respond in disbelief. Me? The Winter Maiden? Honey, I'm not a maiden of anything. I'm some guy. Some guy, woo. Trying to gather himself, Jean pushes his hands to his knees and stands back up, brushing his eyes with small tears. And you're right. That's not a power I want. We've seen what it does. Being hunted by everyone. Pyra died because of it. Yang's mom ran away because of it. You died because of it. These powers. Jean drags his hand across his face, groaning into his palm. Can't take this. It doesn't even matter what I say. I already have it, just by being here, right? Penny sullenly nods, carefully taking a few steps back. Pyra destroyed you on accident back then. She was manipulated into doing it. Penny nods again, her fingers pressing in close. Jean's tone, however, does not change, taking a long breath. He carefully lets the words keep flowing from his lips. I thought if I could protect you, maybe I'd make her proud. Though somehow, just like her, I ended up killing you too. And just like her, being drawn into this maiden stuff. It's like kooky destiny, right? Penny's hands fall to her sides, and she takes just one step forward. John, her voice comes out a little stern this time, yet still lined with hope. I do not know what will happen, but please, do not give up hope. If you feel responsible, then live for us both, alright? Splash. A wave of water splashes against John's face, and suddenly is greeted by a purple sky. Coughing up salty water, he rolls to his side, noticing his armor was now on his body again. Even his sword was still in his hand. Pushing against the sand, John sees Penny's body. Just a few feet away. A beach all around him, a forest with purple and blue trees not far ahead. There's no longer a woods with purple and blue trees not far ahead. There's no longer a white sauce, a white space. There's no longer a white space. but the new reality he had to face. Standing up, he walks to Penny, carefully rolling her over. The blood stain was still there, the hole in her heart still present. Squatting down, John sheaths his sword and scoops Penny into his arms, looking down at her. Only you could ask me to do something so unfair. John gives a weak little smile and walks slowly into the forest. Clack, clack, clack. The rocks were in place. It took him hours by himself, but the grave was finally completed. Lanfi did not want to bury Penny in a random location. He had no other choice for survival's sake. As far as he knew, no trees or vegetation that he had seen so far was native to anywhere. It was native anywhere. It was like being on a different planet. But space travel was just a dream, not something people could actually do. Something people could do. Not something people could do. Yeah, that's fine. So what now? John sighs soothingly to himself. He had no one for company but himself. So now I get to live with new trauma, while I talk to myself also I hopefully don't go insane. Great, John. That does sound pretty like John. John had no direction, so he walks. The walking took who knew how long. The area around him had no way to tell time. Though it had a sun, it seemed to never go down. Rather, certain parts of where he walked would be oddly dark, like a fake night. The areas gave him some place to sleep at the very least. John did his best to keep hopeful, but each day that passed began to drag on his mind. When he told him live, people like Pyra wanted him to live too. That did not mean he wanted to live alone. Another day, another lonely night. The more he walks toward what he assumes to be the center of the island, the further his mind wanders. Despite it all, though, John still lives, sipping water off purple leaves, ripping on greenish fruit from trees. To eat, some began to turn his stomach, but so far nothing had killed them. No animals, no people. John heard no bugs, and even wind felt rare. He could sadly not survive on strange fruit alone. Meat, grains, starch, he needed something else. Fruits could also be some sort of slow poison, even if it filled him. Even if they filled him. Then again, the water could be doing the same. The most he could do, after all, was boil it on a fire. Campfire one word or two words? I don't know. Is it one word or two words? I think it's two words. At least whatever he was... Is it one word? Campfire one word? I guess it is. At least whatever he was still... At least wherever he was, still in to make fires. It was not like some storybook where the laws of nature is completely changed. Would he find something at the center? Whether there's that fell from the platforms on different islands. Same world, different time. Jean scoffs under his breath. They fell into a place made by relics the gods of their world created. Anything goes. Only a few find the way. Jean hears the voice and readies his sword. Low, a bit raspy, but with a whisper. The voice sounded like it was almost talking on the wind, yet no wind blew. If it was hostile, Jean figured he could not fight properly. It felt hard just holding up his sword properly, using his energy to chop wood, make fires, find fruit. It was hard without proper food. He was just barely able to make his body push itself to strive. Fighting was the last thing he wanted to do, so breathing instantly, John speaks calmly. to the voice. Find the way? What way? John pauses to see if the voice responds. No answer comes back, so he tries again. You're real, right? I'm not just going crazy, am I? The purple trees rustles, some branches lower and twitch. A paw print then presses against the ground. John blinks and rubs at his eyes, but the print remains. Then a branch to his left lowers down slowly, a white paw suddenly resting on it. The hair on the paw bristles, like it was sharp, and more of the body reveals itself. A creature that looks similar to Ruby's dog. The face, however, was fuzzy, but more round like a person. Yet Jean could not exactly call it human-looking. The teeth it shows are sharp, and the eyes it stares with are glowing yellow. It was like a dog, but also some kind of cat. It lays on the branch with expert balance, just like cats John would see in the city. The long tail at its backside swishes slowly, changing from white fur to purple. Changing from white fur to purple. Then the creature speaks, the same voice coming from it that he heard just moments ago. Am I crazy, or are you? Am I crazy? Are you? The creature smiles, its sharp teeth, one eye blinking after the other. Though, is it crazy, or simply different from our own crazy? Jean sighs, hearing the words. The creature was creepy, to put bluntly. Calling itself crazy was not a comfort to him either. It was not hostile currently, but John was unsure if talking to it would be helpful or not. Clearing his throat, he carefully puts his sword back in its sheath and speaks back up. Have you seen anyone like me? The creature vanishes from view, but the branches around John keep rustling. Its voice begins to brush the wind again like before. Only you are you, just like we are us. The branches settle, and once again, the creature's body materializes in front of John, sitting on a lower branch. It grins, its eyes still blinking one after the other. Though you are no longer the you that had slept, you're awake. It's got a point, you know. It's got a point. Groaning at the words, John holds his face in his palm. Creature spoke nonsense, and it was making him frustrated. I'll always be me. Look, I just want to find the others that can walk and talk like me. Is that a better question? Do you get that? Buddy, should I call you anything? Albeit passive-aggressive, John did still need to learn more, provided he was not going crazy. If the creature could lead him toward his friends that were lost to the void, it would be better than surviving alone. The branches do not rustle like before. The creature blinks one eye after the other, and the branch it sits on extends up so the creature can stare John in the face. It had no breath as its body breathes. The grin on its face lowers, on its plain expression. It speaks again. Any path will lead you. The direction is the one you decide. Will you be you no matter which you take? Crack. The tree branch cracks and the creature vanishes from view. John spins on his heel, trying to listen for it, but the area is dead silent again. What the... he... What the hell? Cut off from speaking, John feels the ground under him shake, bracing himself. He grabs the side of a tree, watching its purple branches sway to the side. right and left, opening a pathway. Even the leaves on the ground blow with seemingly non-existent wind. Branches sway to the sun, right and left, opening it. Sway to the side, opening a pathway. Even the leaves on the ground blow with a seemingly non-existent wind, and disbelief John's words mutter off his lips. It can't really act based on my feelings, can it? Is that what it meant? Or what I want it to mean? Great, John, talking to yourself will help. Maybe a little, but what did it mean? I'd still be mean. Nothing. John's body shivers as he stares at his hand. Without even having a sword drawn, he could feel the hilt like a phantom. The blood was still fresh along the tip. Drip, drip, drip. John falls into a pant, his chest feeling a bit tight. What? Grabbing at his chest, it felt hard to breathe. It was just a panic attack, it's fine. He grabs at the tree branches and pushes himself to take each step forward. Was he panicking? Was this what a panic attack was like? John's body was weak. It felt like he ran around a track far too many times. All he had been doing was walking. He wanted to throw up, but he keeps moving anyway. His body shakes down again. It was hard for him to steady his hand. Holding his actual sword did nothing earlier. Why would just... Oh. That's probably fine. Holding his actual sword did nothing earlier. Why would just seeing his hand remind him so vividly? Huh. And then another meaty thud. Oh, we got the next one. I never noticed it. Like my hot photo here? Like, do you like it? You think it's cool? Cool hot photo? Your area? Good. Sliding against a tree, John falls to his butt, keeps a hand on his chest, trying to control his breathing. His eyes felt heavier than they should. What would cause such a strain? John's breath begins to slow. His fingers gently grip the ground. It hasn't been that long. What did I expect? The words come out plainly, but John could still feel some pain in his chest. Did I really help Penny? Nothing responds to John, but the pain in his chest lessens. Did I really get that power? John cannot help but focus on the creature's odd words. Just talking to it made him feel like it knew things it should not. Would his having some new power change who he is as a person? I don't even know how to use it. If I could, could I get myself out of here? Is this part of the creator's magic? It's still magic, but Maiden's power... Is it part of the creator's magic? No, actually, it's two. Still magic, but Maiden powers are Oz magic, right? I guess it's Odds and Salim. How does magic even work? Can Oscar use it himself? Does that mean anyone can still and just decide to stop? The thoughts, the questions, they wander through Jean's mind, lightning fast. Instead of panicking, he found himself paralyzed with wonder. Never had a chance to really stop and think never really had a chance to stop and think it over. Think over it all. So much had happened in so little time. Then his eyes finally closed. Sleep. It sounded like an alarm. A loud, close one blaring in John's ear. It was odd, but he could hear a voice too. A female's voice. One that sounded familiar. I'm late. I'm late. I'm late. I'm late. I'm late. With a clack of heels. And a sway. Skirt. Of a skirt, Jean could barely understand what he was seeing. The trees that had surrounded him were gone, all beside the one he was sleeping on. In front of him now, what seemed like the purple trees were twisting into a concrete and metal walkway. The concrete into concrete and metal walkways. The ground shifted to look more like mantle. Twisting into... Yeah, it's fine. More like mantle, the place he had just fled from days before. An illusion was the first thing that came to mind. Is the world somehow twisted to suit the people's feelings? Sean had nothing to go on beside the vague words the odd creature said. Was he in some sort of waking dream? Finally! If it was a dream, was the girl in front of him real? Or his own created illusion? Sean, you've arrived. We have to hurry now. The courtroom appointment starts shortly. The white-haired girl pushes thick-rimmed glasses up the bridge of her nose. The scar on her eyes told John enough. The pale skin and usual color scheme felt comforting. Weiss in the flesh. Unless he was that far crazy. No, maybe he rather... Though maybe he'd rather be crazy if he got some human face in front of him. Though maybe he'd rather be crazy if he got... human contact again. Come on, we have to go. Stop standing around. We holds out her hand. Her nails are painted white. It was odd, John thought. We seem to be dressed like some sort of secretary. Pencil skirt, white top, black heels, red lining. A pocket watch dangling from her side. Jean wanted nothing more than take Luis's hand, but even he was not so far gone as to do that. Clearing his throat, he gingerly coughs into his hand to first make sure he could even speak. Ahem. Then trying to do his best to not fumble over himself, Jean speaks plainly. Are you the real Weiss? 'Cause you don't... Weiss covers Jean's mouth and pulls him into a tight hug. It's surprising, but also made him question the reality even more. Weiss, however, whispers into Jean's ear. Good. You're real too. Just play along for now, or we'll be stuck. I'll explain later. Trust me, please, John. Normally hearing such words would do all sorts of things to John's head. Weiss, however, sounded desperate, exhausted even. She did fall off a bit before John did, so maybe it made sense he'd stumble into her. Now come with me. Weiss's tone shifts and grows animated instantly. She turns on her heel and puts a hand on her hip, beckoning Jean to follow. He does. To anyone else, the area would look like a normal city street, but Jean could see it. As they walk, the branches of the trees twist and change color. As they walk, the branches of the trees twisted and changed colors. Textures, even. Some hollow out to make buildings. And some morph to even look like fake wooden people. They walk and walk, till finally Weiss grabs John's hand and guides him out of a flight of stairs, leading to a double door. Here we are. Present yourself correctly while in the Queen's court. Weiss says the words matter of factly, but her eyes stare at Jean, begging for compliance, as if life and death were at stake. As if life and death were the stakes. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Boom. The doors swing open by themselves, and a gavel slams down. Order! Another familiar female voice. Weiss Jean walk down the center of the court. As they walk, views rise from the ground, with wooden folk sitting in them. Wooden folk sitting in them. The girl behind the large judge stand. The girl behind the large judge stand, though, looked real. A crown on her head, a rather regal dress on her body, mallet in her... gavel in her hand. John could barely believe what he was seeing. The dark red hair. And the silver eyes. The girl looked like Ruby. Dark red hair and silver eyes. Girl looked like Ruby, but dressed like some sort of queen. Weiss makes no mention of it, however. It still does not break her acting, so John follows along. Weiss takes them to a small table with 2 chairs, and they both sit down. No jury is formed. And no table at their side, either. Queen Ruby seemed to be the only one there, and she slams her gavel down again to quiet down the silent wooden people. I said order! Ahem. Clearing her throat. The girl's usual cheery tone remains serious. We are gathered here today for a trial of murder. Oh. Yeah, they're here today You're gathered here today for a trial of murder. A gasp echoes through the courtroom from parts unknown. John can't help but look over his shoulder, but only wooden people stare back at him. Yes, my good subjects. Murder, the most grossest crime there is. John's face twitches, trying to not laugh at Ruby. At Ruby's failure to say heinous. We studying his arm sternly. Luckily, keeps him intact. It has come to my attention that John Ark, the one standing before us today, has committed this grave act of murder. Another gasp comes from the crowd, but this time John's body simply freezes up. John has not only killed a good friend of mine, but even stolen away her power as well. The victim will even confirm this. Penny, from Ruby's side. I stand by the judge's podium rises, and a wooden cutout of Penny sits. John stares, a large hole gaping in the wooden statue's heart. Gaping in the heart of the wooden statue. The crowd gasps. That's right, you've all heard my good friend's words. So why then should the defendant not be found guilty of all charges? Squeeze. We squeezes tightly at John's arm, as if to reassure him. Standing up then, she walks in front of John, looks toward Ruby. Looks up at Ruby. My glorious and kind queen. We says the words maturely. Public speaking seems something she could manage well now. At least in front of a wooden people and her friend that was playing dress up. I will not deny the acts of my client, though I ask you to understand the reasoning behind them. After all, my queen has pardoned Lady Pyra for the same exact act you accuse my client of. Double jeopardy, no. The crowd now rambles, and Ruby's face contorts. At this point, Jean had no idea what to say. He could still barely process what was even happening. The Force had some sort of power. But was Ruby under the spell? Or were they all playing along? If they were, how cruel was it to make this topic John had to sit through? Make this the topic John had to sit through? Well, Ruby mutters under her breath, but upon slamming her gavel, back against her table, her voice rises again. I do acknowledge that Penny has been killed before in a non-aggressive way. The murder in question was deemed an accident, though. Ruby points to the wooden statue of Penny. This time the victim was killed intentionally, and I think the court, meaning me, would agree this much is true. And undeniable. We stomps her foot against the ground and swishes her glasses off with a flourish of her hair. Because she's gotta look cool. She glares at Ruby and sternly speaks. I am a witness to the act in question, and Penny pleaded for my client to do so, even when my client had first denied the request. The courtroom gasps again. Courtroom gasps, and then begins to shake. Courtroom gasps, and then begins to shake. Jean jolts up. Oh, wait. Begin. And then begins to shake. Yeah, that's fine. John jolts up from his chair and recently tackles him to the ground. What the? Before John can speak up, the trees around them begin to fall apart, crashing into each other. They kick up dust and dirt. Queen says nothing else, but Weiss keeps her hold on John. In just a minute, the woods suddenly were just that. No fake buildings or people. Just trees once more. But Weiss was real. You are real, right? John's voice softly cracks. He could barely manage to whisper out his words, just feeling the pressure of Weiss's body on him. It was not because she was heavy either. The pressure of another human. Someone else. He wasn't alone. Single tear. Enjoy an extra 15% off gifts. Squeezing herself into his body, Weiss's voice shakily speaks into John. Yeah, just shakily speaks. Yeah, dummy. Yeah, finally. Someone. John felt the same, but something about Weiss's words tugged at his heart. She still sounded so desperate. John was dealing with a lot, but he liked to think he still had some kind of hope. It felt like Weiss almost had completely lost all hers. Weiss keeps her head buried into John's chest. Her voice kept at a soft whisper. Her voice kept a whisper. Being out here for months like this, I really thought I was the only one here. That I'd die here. Jean shivers at the words. Just the mention of months passing makes him begin to count the days in his head. He knew days passed, but for him it felt like it only been a bit over a week at most. Oscar, the others, I wanted to believe they could push on without us. I still believe that, but here, alone, I thought maybe I could manage, find some way, but this place, everything, the warmth against his chest speaks for itself. Weiss could not help but cry. Jean lets her put his mind wonders too. Blake, Yang, Ruby, and even one of their enemies, Neo. They all fell into the same void, but if months had passed for Weiss, and Jean is only... And John had only fallen in a few minutes after. How much time passed for the other girls? That being alone was hard on Weiss. Was the ruby they saw leaving the court real? Or some illusion made by the forest? Sean, hearing Weiss's whispering words, all the questions bouncing in John's mind quiet. He could worry about it later, at least for now. He was not alone. Then you get your PTSD again, because that's always fun. That's always fun. Fun little thing to drip in. Drip, drip, drip. John jolts awake, a cold sweat beating down his forehead. Panting, he holds his chest. His eyes dart over the trees around him. His eyes darting over the trees around him. John? Then a soft female voice squeezes his hand. Elise was beside him. She never left. She is beside him. You've had it rough. Brushing the sweat from his brow, Jean slowly reels his hand from Weiss's. Yeah. Instead of wasting time talking about feelings, Jean needed to learn more. They had to survive, find some means of escape, keep hope. I'll just ask, Weiss, what was all that? With Ruby, what happened to your clothes, too? I thought they may change back, but you're still in that. Just to bring it up before I forget, you said months. I've only been here, like, a week. Lisa's eyes slowly widened. She gently coddles her head with her hand, thinking, wow. The words mutter off her lips, talking to herself when alone was common, Jean notes. Jean. Louise stands up, slowly dusting off the back of her skirt. You've only been here for days. Where did you wake up? The beach was still clear in Jean's head. So was the lifeless corpse beside him. Squeezing his eyes shut, John shakes his head and responds, I woke up at some beach on this island thing. Then I went into the woods. The trees have been pretty weird. But this place with all the purple trees has been, well, worse, apparently. But I somehow found you, so I guess I got that going for me. Eyes shifting from concern to hope. We had a lot on our mind. I woke up in this hell forest. Whatever the months did to her. Hell doesn't exist in Ruby. I woke up in this terrible. That is not how you spell terrible. Terrible forest. Whatever the months did to her in Elysian Forest, we still had her sterner, bitter tone down. I never even knew this place was an island. I woke up in this get up too. The forest shows you things if you don't act along with it. It tries to eat you. We seemed unsure how to explain it. I'd be dead by now without my runes. I've no idea what happened to my weapon. Eyes darting around the area. We sheepishly gets closer to Jean, seeming to not want to stray too far. Whatever the case, if you can get us back to that shore, or somewhere that isn't this forest, that would be for the best. I have no idea if anyone else is in here, but I can certainly hope not. More talking could happen when they were not in an Elysian forest. We clearly did not want to linger around. John can agree with the sentiment. The path he wanted to go would be there. John wanted to find people, so he did. If what the creature told him was true, that was how the forest worked. Then why did the rules not apply to Weiss? Because she lacks some deeper connection to the creator's relics? Creator's relics. Follow me. John's questions were beginning to feel more rhetorical. So for now, he presses on. Weiss stands behind him, seeming unsure if she should hold on to some part of him or keep close distance. I met some weird creature here. John starts talking as he walks. He's careful to not go too fast. I'm not sure if what it said is true, but it seems like this forest reacts to feelings. It took John's days of travel before suddenly it takes a few hours. The crashing of waves rings into John's ears. Weiss could barely believe it. The usual useless, silly John was now her savior from going insane. Finally, they both step out of the purple forest and step against a sandy beach, walking along the shoreline. I guess we somehow made it out of there. The place is so weird. No wonder we were told not to fall in. No. Don't fall in. Don't fall in. It's bad for you. It's very bad for you. Don't fall in. I've already been reading for like an hour. Takes forever. Yawn. Stretch. Make sure to actually drink water. Oh, okay. Wish finds herself a log, washed up on the shoreline, and sits down looking out for the water. Some of it looked like salt water. The colors of the water change though. One moment it is greenish, the next purple or blue. John finds his own spot. John finds his spot beside Weiss, a bit surprised. How calm she seems. Sleeping a bit and knowing you're not alone in the world can do a bit. Jean. Weiss cups her hands together, carefully resting them on her lap. Her words are soft, though from her eyes distant stare, Jean could tell she was in deep thought. Wonder if the others are even here. If I was here for months and you days. They could have been here for even longer, over a year. Maybe they found a way back. Wouldn't know. She asked no questions. And just spoke her thoughts. I've been through a few of those. Illusion, trees. It was terrible. I really thought it was Ruby at first. I felt so happy to see her. Just don't tell the real one that. She sighs, slowly brushing her thumb against the side of her hand. I started talking to the creatures I summoned, pretending maybe I feel like... pretending maybe. I feel like ever since I went to Beacon, my whole life just keeps showing me how privileged I was, how much I take for granted, even the new family I found. Pause in her words, lingers. For a while, then her eyes flick to John, but are unable to meet his gaze. You, Ren, Nora, you're all part of that family too. Even Oscar, and he only just started traveling with us. We're just a bunch of teenagers, not even adults yet, and we keep having to solve all these problems the adults should have been able to figure out in the first place. John wanted to say a lot, but he felt unable to. It was all true, after all. It's like one of Blake's books, or one of Ruby's silly games. Some great hero that's 10 years old gets to go fight a god on the moon to save the world with some dog they found on the road. John managed to crack a smile at that one. Luce even gives a small shove, seeing the smirk. I'm not joking, though. You know it's true. How many issues have we had to solve now? So many adults we know. So many adults in those games or books. All of them have powers, allies, some special skills, but instead of helping, they thrust it all into some young kid. Biting at her lower lip, she shakes her head, dismissively. Are we all just doing that to Ruby? It took us way too long and Mansell to actually work together. Are we allowed these mistakes? It just feels all too much. Weiss, you got a bit of cough there. She speaks more matter-of-factly, but I don't know if I can do a voice like that. You really think I'm going to do that? She talks like a girl that always wants to snap. Death, destruction, a war no one wanted to be part of. It was all too much. No one could agree to that. People his age should not be forced to deal with what they were. No one should. Sighing slowly, Jean leans back, looking up at the purplish sky. Well, maybe he cannot provide much comfort with his words, but he could at least say something. We're still alive. We'll make more mistakes. We're just trying to survive, though. Salem, though, meeting her up close, seeing what the relic showed us, pretty pathetic. All she needs to do is learn to deal with death. Drip, drip, drip. John squeezes his hand against the log, his eyes wandering the sky. It's painful. It lingers in our minds. When we lose something, we can't just get it back, even if we wanted it. She did get it back, though. They even had a life together after she already ruined the world and restarted it. Though after that, she still never learned to let go. The lesson she was supposed to learn was forgotten. It just became about revenge to try and do what? Say she's better than some gods? John jolts up from the log and kicks his boot into the sand, his voice rising with anger. He'll know that if she actually got all the relics, all she's going to do is make the gods erase our whole planet. But she's dumb enough to think she could beat them. What's keeping her alive in the first place? And his voice pant, John wondered himself what reason he had to be so mad. She was given everything and more, and all that happened was she became an even bigger spoiled brat. Maybe Jean had more to work out than he thought. Dealing with Penny was enough. Now he was just making me shift uncomfortably. He could not stop his words. If I even had the smallest chances she was given, I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry, Pyra says. John's body freezes up. Something about the island made it so easy to remember. Remember things he kept trying to bury. Sitting back down, he stares at his hands. And Elise carefully puts her hands on top of his. She speaks softly, far softer than him. I can't understand, John. Though I won't say I can, but I'm here. John grits his teeth. Tears wanted to pour, but it keeps them from leaking. We saw Salem's choice of what survival means. Maybe she just wants those gods to kill her themselves, though. Maybe she just wants those gods to kill her themselves. We won't become like her, though. From everything we saw in her story, the thing she lacked most was actual friends. Elise lifts her hand away and proudly places a hand on her chest, trying to put some more energy into the conversation. If even we Schnee, a prissy rich girl, can get a bunch of colorful dweebs for friends, then, well, nothing's impossible. We can stop her, we can get out of here, we can meet back up with everyone. John manages a small smirk. We seem to be good at speaking facts today. Celine gave up everything for Osmond. She got her happy life, then got bored with immortality without ever learning anything. She never made friends, cared for others. She just got some pets. Ironic that Salim's pathetic existence could be what would comfort Jean. Mortality is a curse, going against the the creators of the planet. Going against the creators of the planet? Not that smart. Salem got Oz in the form of someone that is always reincarnating. Though even getting all the things she wanted, nothing was ever good enough. No friends to help her process loss, no friends to enjoy the mundane parts of life. And no memories to hold close. Salim really is the most pathetic thing John could think of. Part of him wanted to Her to find the relics so she could be erased from existence already. Son, John breathes out. Humans are dumb. Grim would still exist without Salim, too. Even if she and she alone were gone, conflict would still exist. That lady causes so many problems. Who knows if she'll ever learn her lesson. If we could throw her into a place like this, I guess that could solve the problems too. More so if the way to escape is by feeling, she'd be trapped forever. As Jean says the words, the idea is not that terrible. In fact, saying them aloud made me question Ozpin's intelligence. Guess we'd need to escape first and get the relic back ourselves to do that one. So a backup idea for now. John sheepishly turns his head to Weiss, who seemed to now be considering the idea herself. Weiss, you were there. You know what I did to Penny. Even if she asked me to, I read her. It's heavy. I guess heavy enough that I'd start rambling and complaining about Salim. Honestly, for some lady with magic, she didn't seem all that threatening when we saw her. More overconfident. Everyone else was afraid, though. Yes, since she pumped herself full of Grim juice, she doesn't like Silver Eyes. Silver Eyes, because she's afraid to turn to stone herself. Kicking sheepishly at the sand, Weiss simply nods. Nods again, seeming to have not thought of such a thing herself yet. Well, don't think on that too much, Weiss. We can't do anything stuck here anyway. Wonder if the maiden power really can help us get out. If the others got out, guess not. Maybe we just have to feel like going home in the forest. Weiss now jolts up, her eyes gleaming over Jean's body. Wait. He speaks sternly, eyes a bit alarmed. We hadn't had a chance to stop. We hadn't had a chance. We hadn't had a chance to discuss it. You got the maiden power from Penny, not my sister. You got the maiden power from Penny, so my sister didn't get it? Before John gets a chance to answer, Weiss fills in the words. You're in no way a maiden, so why did the winter power go to you? Shutting his eyes, Jean thinks back to what the relic had shown them all. Oz and Salim had 4 kids. I assume those were the first maidens. When Salim ended their little life, Oz sent the powers to different girls, letting them reincarnate like him, but only the power. Stopping himself, Jean frowns, his eyes glancing down. He probably made the machine he wanted Pyra to use based on his own reincarnation power. Transferring the aura and soul to another body. Pyra was going to gain the Fall Maiden power through a machine instead of passing it through death. Or that grim tentacle thing Cinder has. But yeah. Has never told us why it has to be a girl. Yeah, saying he's fine with girls sounds a little creepy. Saying he's fond of girls sounds a little creepy. Weiss runs her hand across her face and sighs into her palms, distraught. We really all need to share information better, don't we? Jean chuckles, nervously under his breath, and nods in agreement. We saw what magic can do. The maiden's powers were created by Salim and Oz together, more or less. Oz just figured out how to move them around, but pass through death, it's supposed to go to another female. Maybe since Pyre wasn't exactly normal, the rules changed. We worriedly now looks over Jean again. What if something happens to you? Even if the power passed on to you, you still have no idea how it will affect a man. We only know Yang's mom and Cinder with the power, and Penny. They all identify as female. The water crashes against the shore, and Whis slowly nods her head. John, I never... slapping the side of Whis' arm. John sighs and shakes his head. Stop it. I identify as a guy. I don't know why the power moved to me. And you're right. I have no clue what will happen. My chest has been hurting lately, though. I figured that was just the panic attacks from, traumatizing experiences. Whis did not laugh at the joke. She does, however, sit back down on the log. Slowly, her hand brushes along the side of her skirt. She cocks her head back to John. Well, without Oz here, I guess the maiden power is useless without any idea how to use it. You're not dead, and you've been here a week or so, you said. It's just chest pain for now. We can deal with it. The real question is how we escape here, or how I get some different clothes. I'm sick of playing lawyer. No islands were visible from the shore, as far as John could see. Now was the time for being serious. Well, John looks off towards the purple woods. Without anywhere to swim or raft to, we can either explore this island or hope for the best. We got here from a relic created by the gods of our world, so could only be this island or a whole bunch. Our best bet seems to be figuring out the woods. Whis' face contorts. You could tell pretty easily she did not like the idea, though it was all they could try, unless they rafted out to a sea they knew nothing about. Stretching out her arms, Whis stands back up, walking closer to the tree line. She makes sure to avoid the purple tree area and walks closer to the blue tree side, where John had buried Penny. Carefully, she sits down on the grass, resting her feet against the sand. John, her hands press against the grass, and she leans back, looking to the sky. Out. John could tell she was still tired. No one could really blame her for that. Her voice even sounded strained. They only chatted for a little. Let's try and set up a camp here first. I'm pretty exhausted. I was in those woods for too long. But if you have the energy, I can start out on camp, maybe. Okay, I probably won't be good at it, but I can pick up sticks or something. John's eyes shift to the side, just picturing Whis attempt to set up a camp sounded cute. Between them both, though, he knew he had more experience after traveling to Haven. Whis was not done, though. So, while I do that, walk along the shoreline of this place, climb a tree. This place, I think it's smaller than we both think. John cocks an eyebrow. Whis bites at her lip. Just the illusions. I don't know what was real and what wasn't. I just think those woods make the place seem bigger than it actually is. If that's true, keeping a more permanent base camp may be a good idea. John could not argue with that, so he begins walking along the shoreline. His sneakers sink into the sand, and his ears listen to calm waves. Even if he had not been in the strange location as long as Whis, he did notice one thing. No moon seemed to be present. The shoreline did not shift at all, yet waves continue to brush the sand. They do not, however, elevate or recede. This place is strange for sure. Muttering under his breath, he keeps walking. The island curves rather quickly. One part is a wood with multicolored. Is it woods? Is it? No. Well, One part is a woods with multicolored trees. On the other side is purple trees. It only takes John a few hours to get to what he assumed. It only takes John a few hours to get to what he assumed was the side opposite where Weiss was. Where Weiss is. You know, I keep feeling like I'm spelling this wrong. Am I spelling that wrong? No, it's right. It looks right. It just feels wrong. I just don't like the two S's next to each other. I'm just like, that looks wrong. But it is literally just we is... It is just the word we, and then an is with an extra S. Weiser's right. It is a small island. So the purple forest, is it magic? Teleporter? Just illusions? What the heck was that animal thing that talked? Was it fake? Weiss never even met it. Show itself to me. Guess the maiden power? Thoughts tick away. Once again, John said, and he begins to keep walking along the shoreline. The maiden's power is the closest thing to magic we have. We don't know everything they can even do. The relics are magic, but just super creators. Wait, what? Relics are magic, but just... The relics are magic, but just a teeny bit of our super creator's magic. And this place is where we ended up falling from inside of what the relic created. The gears of John's mind tick away, but he knew too little about magic. He really should have had Oz explain more. I can only guess. Maybe this forest can help us, though. I guess me and Weiss will have to try and figure it out. Another few hours had passed by. And John had barely noticed he was walking right by a sleeping Weiss, pivoting on his foot. He walks carefully up to her and peers over the so-called camp. She threw a bunch of leaves down for bedding and threw some different twigs and branches into a pile for firewood. John would have to find rocks for a fire pit, and then bugs, and seemingly no rain. Apparently a full shelter would not be needed. For now, John gathers the rocks and makes the small pit. He needed kindling for a fire, so he gathers different dried brush in the multicolored woods. The blue trees having the most filling fruits, he grabs a few, setting them in a small food pile. Then he makes a bed for himself out of the larger leaves the yellowish trees have. Camp is ready. John had no idea of the actual time, given the never-setting sun. Still, he was tired too. Nap would do. Shutting his eyes, he lays back against his temporary bed. Sleeps. Huh? And then you gotta have the point of conflict. Not really a point of conflict. We're kind of almost done. Kind of. Definitely taken a while. Hurt. Bentley. Weird. Weird. Do I want to change anything here? That is the question I ask myself. Anyway. Whist's voice. In a way, John found it calming. Why John finds it calming. The lap of waves, the soft rustling of leaves. Weiss gently touching his shoulder. John shivers. Why was Weiss touching him exactly? John, Your voice sounded worried. Wake up. Finally awake. You caught you trying to cross the border, just like us. Oh, goddammit, I woke up on the purple tree side. No, that'd be funny. That'd be kind of funny. I did a lot of, tempering expectations. She nudges her hand a bit. Then John slowly opens an eye, raising his eyebrow. So, I don't have a mirror. Weiss fidgets her hand to her side. At the side of her skirt, and sighs. No, here. Picking up John's sword, she undocks it from the sheath. Lifting the blade to John. Look yourself. Just try and stay calm. Being given a warning and hearing a worried voice was not exactly calming. John grabs the hilt of his sword, sits himself up. Tim shakes for just a moment, holding it, but he keeps himself under control in front of Weiss. Looking into the reflection of the sword, John stares. One of his sisters, his mom. The face was pretty masculine, but had feminine features. Like a tomboy, really. Oh. John says the word, and watches the lips of the girl move. The reflection was him. Gently touches his hand to his face. The reflection Mirror is the same. He had not been looking at himself. So the slightly longer hair would be normal. Though his hair usually never grew that quickly in just over a week. He had a pretty close cut, but now his hair brushes his neck. How much changed? I hadn't been looking at myself since I came here. Jean carefully sets the sword down, looks toward Whis. I'm starting to look like one of my sisters or something. The maiden power, do you think it's changing me? Or is it just this place? Whis leans back and rubs at her eyes to make sure she is not seeing things. Well, when I first saw you, closing her eyes now, Whis presses her knees together. Your hair was longer already, but I don't know. I saw you sleeping and all. Your eyelashes look a little longer. Your lips look different too. Whis awkwardly rubs her arm, thinking about what to say. If magic can turn someone into a bird, changing genders doesn't sound like a big deal. I guess you're right, though. We don't know if it's the maiden power or this place, but your face is looking pretty feminine. Gesturing her hand over Jean's body, she says, you wear that armor with that hoodie, so more might have changed too. Do you feel different? Jean picks up and puts down his sword a few times. It felt the same weight. Standing up, he unbuckles the sides of his plate armor. Of his half-plate armor, and sits it down, removing his sash and gauntlets, pulls his hoodie off over his head, and piles the clothing on his bedding. Well, I guess, do I look different? Whis covers her mouth with both hands, eyes staring him up and down. Without confirming anything, it was easy to tell she could see differences that did not stop Whis from pointing them out. Yeah, wow. I don't see any hairs on your arms. Usually girls have light hairs, then shave when they get too long. But you seem to have none. Also, without your body... without your hoodie on. Also, without your hoodie on, yeah, your hips seem wider. Whis carefully crawls forward just to peek at Jean's backside. Yeah, a few things seem bigger. It's subtle, but I've seen you enough to notice. Whis frowns, crossing her arms under her chest. Looks like you still have muscle. Your body's more feminine for sure, though. I don't know how I'd describe it. I can tell you're a boy, but the longer I look at you, it makes me want to second-guess myself. If you wore a dress like you did at the dance, I feel like it would be hard to tell if you were a boy or not. John already had enough on his plate. Turning into a girl was not one he expected, though. If Whis really did notice more changes than just a day before, even more would happen, surely. Turning around, John checks in his pants quickly. He was still a boy for now. The maiden power, the fruits, it was hard to say what could cause the change without knowing more. The easy answer was magic. The place he was in seemed to be filled with it, considering how he even got there. Well, John bites at his lip. Trauma weighing on him was enough on it. It was heavy enough. Was it supposed to be ironic twist that just the day before he was telling some strange creature how he would always be himself? I can't do anything about this. If I change, I change. Doesn't stop our mission. We have to find a way to get out of here. Back to our world. Back to our world or whatever. The others could still be in trouble trying to figure out a way to help us. Or have their hands full. Just helping the people of Mantle and Atlas. Worrying about others... Oh yeah. Worrying about others helped. It meant John did not have to worry about himself. Let's Let's try and figure out this forest thing. Oh, we're almost to the end. We just have to do the dramatic final scene. Kind of. Kind of. Then I think I'll write a sequel to this later. I think I might write a sequel to this. A soft sigh passes Lisa's lips. She stands up and brushes off the back of her skirt. Relook. A soft sigh of reluctance passes Lisa's lips, but she stands up and brushes off the back of her skirt. Okay. Her eyes keep soft, with some concern. John can tell by the look. She was worried about him. After all she had been through... After all she had been through... After all she had been through... How could she manage? Just a warning again. That place, it changed my clothes when I fell asleep in there. I've been playing the lawyer, or whatever you want to call it, for a while now. Given your current state, I don't know what it'd do to you. You might not even have to fall asleep. It may just change things based on feelings, like what you were talking about. Running, John starts to walk over to what he deemed the entrance to the Purple Woods. He even placed 2 rocks to mark the entrance. It's illusions, but I guess I can really change things like objects. Can mimic voices and make at least a few people that look real. Listing out the things it can do. Aloud, the thought of actually running into it again sounded like a bad idea. But John had to be positive, or at least realistic. A small isolated island, in seemingly the middle of nowhere, has no other options. This either leads us to some exit, or we're just gonna have to hope the others find a way to get us back. Walking backward quickly, John coughs into his hand and scoops up his armor and sword. He almost forgot about his equipment. Hoodie back on, armor back on, gloves and sword. Gloves on and sword at the hip sheathed. He was ready. Let's go, Whis. As Jean starts to walk, Whis grabs onto his arm. Wait, just, Whis' cheeks turn a little red with embarrassment, but to Jean's surprise, she laces her fingers with his own. As much as I'm embarrassed to do this, I don't want us to get separated in that crazy place. If it really can teleport us, let's try and keep close. John could not exactly argue. It was a little awkward, though. John had a crush on Whis when he first came to Beacon. Maybe part of him still did. He had grown a lot personality-wise after traveling and experiencing more. The romance felt hard for him to feel, given what John had been dealing with lately. 2 friends holding hands. But Magic Forest did not teleport him. That was all it was. Him overthinking a little physical contact as anything more was silly. He should have thought about it more with Pyra. Squeezing Lisa's hand, he did not need to get closer to her, just protect her. He could not let another girl die because of his actions. Okay, let's go. Poor baby. Poor baby bad. Little baby bad. Crack, crunch, snap. Each day, Lise and John began to set out into the Purple Woods after eating some different fruits they could find. Each day, they were met with different illusions, some of friends, Some of strangers. It was unclear what the forest wanted to do. Jean and Weiss both tried to focus their minds on going home, yet the woods respond with an illusion that related to something else. Another goes by. Another goes by. Oh, another day goes by. Another day goes by, and another trip into the forest begins. John's boots crunch against leaves. And snap against twigs, and the trees crack back. Just as planned. Just as planned, Weiss and John keep each other's hands interlaced. The trees always begin to bend with illusion. When an illusion starts, a path open, or a new path open, or when a path opens. Today, though, is different from the past week. Sir, ma'am, or maybe I should greet both as ladies. The low whispering tone, the soft creak from branches. The woods brought them back to the small clearing John talked to the old creature in before. Weiss. John looks at her and squeezes. And squeezes at her hand. And squeezes her hand. That's what I told you about. The thing, it's... After I talked to it, I found you. The creature's eyes blink, one after another, appearing in front of Weiss and John. Just the eyes, floating in the air. Yes, me. Oh, wait, no. Yes, us, me, you, I. Our time is here again. Though you don't seem like you, yet we are still we. The creature's smile creases across the air, showing its sharp teeth. Once again, its body begins to materialize out of thin air, its tail swishing behind it slowly. Weiss had seen plenty from the illusion trees. She does not flinch seeing the creature. You... She speaks up to it instead. What are you talking about? We want a way home, to our world. The creature blinks one eye after the other, not looking in Weiss's direction. John clears his throat then, speaks up himself. I'm a little different from before, but that's my body. John says the words, and his eyes cannot help but glance down to confirm, after a week had passed. His voice was starting to crack now and again when speaking. His hair now brushes against his shoulder. Luckily, Weiss had a hair tie, so she tied it back for him in a short ponytail. Under his armor and hoodie, more had changed. His hands felt smooth to touch, despite still having the muscle to wield a sword. Weiss said it felt like he lotioned his hands daily. Apparently, he smelled better too, despite not having a proper place to shower or bathe. It was like his body was going through a second puberty, but one meant for a girl. The even subtle rest was starting to grow from his chest, though he had not mentioned that part to Weiss yet. I was starting to feel uncomfortable feeling his shirt rub against the now more sensitive skin. John still had the male parts needed, but Weiss was blunt with him. With just a week gone by, he already looked like a girl. Was like a girl that was just a tomboy. His facial features... that's fine. His facial features had softened more, and his jaw not as defined. And his shoulders had even sunken down a bit. Instead of standing broad. A lot changed, but the change doesn't mean I'm not still me. Even saying the words, John wondered how much he believed them. The creature smiles, and like it had before, it vanishes from view, appearing in a spot now high above on an upper branch. Oh, the creature chuckles, its sharp teeth clattering together. You're the you of yesterday and the day before. That's just not true. The you of yesterday is dead. The you today is now, and the you tomorrow will be another. That's true, you know. That's true. I can accept that. That's acceptable. That's okay. Weiss does not seem amused by the banter, but John did not want to leave. At the very least, Weiss was respecting that. At the very least, Lisa was respecting that. Keeping quiet for now. John clears his throat, and his eyes shift down, his words growing softer. Memories are what make us up. Only ever been thee now. I have memories of yesterday. But you're right. Not the same me as yesterday. Me and my friend want to get out of here and go back to where we were. Not the where of yesterday, but the where before standing foot on this island, before stepping foot in whatever the relic created. Home. The creature's eyes spin and swirl in thought. It lifts a paw and rests its cheek on it. Home is where the heart is, after all, so where is yours? John shivers at the word. Part of him figured the creature may say something like that. It smiles at his reaction and vanishes away, suddenly appearing not on a branch, but at his leg, brushing against him, like a normal cat. I can't know everything. Let your need guide your behavior. With those words as its last, the creature vanishes again, and the soft wind rustles the branches of the trees. Weiss tugs at John's arm, and looks at him with concern. That thing, it only spoke with you. Didn't even acknowledge me. I could hear it, see it. Weiss was trying to understand the best she could. Is it the maiden power? Magic? If it's native to this land, maybe I lack something that you have. John takes a careful step away from Weiss, but does not let go of her hand. I think I know how to get out of here now. Maybe I didn't acknowledge you because you could already leave in the first place. Just didn't know how. Or maybe you wanted to leave with someone. Weiss frowns and nudges her free hand against John's side. Come on, that thing sounded like I was speaking in riddles or nonsense. What exactly did you get out of it? John frowns now and gently squeezes at Reese's hand. The way home. I don't know why this place was created. Maybe the others are on a different island. Maybe they had to deal with things like this, or different ones. Maybe you're just here with me because we fell in the same area. John was rambling. He needed to get to the point. Lisa's frowning expression told him that. I just think I have to face Pyra. And I don't think I can do it with you, Weiss. I think to leave, we need to face something like that. This place reacts to our thoughts, feelings, memories. It twists them, changes them. But shows us stuff we think about too. Regrets, joys too. At Atlas, I think you dealt with a lot of that already. Which is why I think the reason you haven't been able to leave is because you were worried about all of us. Looking at the inside of her mouth, we grabs onto John's other hand, staring him in the eyes. It looks like she wanted to cry. John, that's not fair. He knew it was not fair. He did not mean he did not have to do it. Of course I care about you. I care about all of you. Even that knucklehead Ruby. Even that knucklehead Ruby. I'm leaving this place. I'm doing so with someone else. Her eyes shift down. She releases a little tension in her cheek. Part of me hopes Ruby, Blake, and Yang. I hope they already got out. I was worried that my sister, someone else, would have gotten caught in it too. But you told me everyone else got away. I considered you too, though. Lise does her best. Her eyes shining a bit glazed, but she manages to hold back the tears. You're an important part of our team. You even saved my life, despite how I've treated you in the past. And you've already dealt with so much. More than I know. But you seem tighter-lipped than any of us when you're suffering. At least Yang's easy to read. Blake's ears give her away, too. Blake's ears give her away. Luis was worried. Jean understood that. It was comforting to hear her actually say it, too. Gently, he slips her hand from his. Well, I probably won't be able to get you to let go of my other hand anyway. Luis smirks at the comment and gives his hand a teasingly strong squeeze. This illusion maybe test would be a better way to say it. It's for me. I guess if you want to understand, even a little bit, I suppose this place will help. I suppose this place will help you. I guess part of me was avoiding having to face it. This forest, it just shown us your dad being creepily good, Penny asking why I couldn't save her. Be stronger. And other crap like that. I wonder why it didn't show me her, but I wondered why it didn't show me her, but I guess I knew. John bites at his own. No. John bites at his lips. He uses his hand to wipe some tears from his own eyes. I don't think I'll be ready for this ever. So better just jump right in. If you're gonna stick around, just make sure I don't run. Just make sure I don't run away. But try and not say much either. I think I need to make sure I face her. The two walk over to the tree John had slept at over a week ago and stare into the sea of purple trees. Luis gives another reassuring squeeze to John's hand. They're about to enter the belly of the beast, John thought. The beast, though, was his fears, worries, maybe even his hopes too. He could think the thoughts, but the forest would twist them as they saw fit. Would probably be a judge, a nurse, an instructor, maybe a singer. John had no way of knowing. They both step into the woods, and the trees begin to surround them. For it is in passing that we achieve immortality. Through this, we become a paragon of virtue and glory to rise above all. Infinite in distance and unbound by death, I release your soul, and by my shoulder protect thee. Just a step, and John could see her, a soft smile on her lips, red hair bellowing in an unseen wind. Her green eyes look hopeful, her armor even shines in the sun. Her gloved hands are held forward, body shimmering with a soft red light. John slowly looks down at his body. Luis's eyes looking as well. John's aura glows a faint white light, just like when it had first awakened. Just like when it first awakened. Fire was who taught John about aura. He was already supposed to have unlocked it. He was already supposed to have it unlocked. He was a real student. He unlocked his aura for him, so he'd at least not get hurt right away. The first trial they had to do as students, how they became teammates. Pyra could have run along with Whis and Ruby, but decided to help him instead. The purple trees shift slowly to match the color of those woods, and John steps forward. Pyra? Jean, you know if you ever need help, you can just ask. Suddenly, like whiplash, the scene shifts. Jean's body shivers, feeling a hand grab at his shoulder. Tenderly. Grab at his shoulder tenderly. It was not the side Weiss was on. Pyra was wearing her school uniform at his side. She gives a tender smile, then gives a glare toward his old bully, Carden. John sighs softly. And squeezes Weiss's hand. How long had Pyra liked him? Why did she like him? Just because he didn't see her like others? He still thought she was amazing. He still thought she was pretty amazing. So what made him so different to her? Why did she look at him like that? No one else. Sean, everyone needs a little push from time to time. It doesn't make you any different from the rest of us. You made it to Beacon. That speaks volumes of what you're capable of. Right. Before anyone knew he cheated his way in, part of him wondered. Before anyone knew he cheated his way in, part of him wonders if Pyra knew it. Pyra knew it or not. After all, he didn't even have his aura activated. Ren's cold words still hit against. Still hit his. Part of him wonders if Pyre knew it from the start or not. After all, he didn't even have his aura activated. Ren's cold words still hit his heart. He was right. That he, of all people, was probably the least qualified. Ruby, Oscar, even younger than him and still better at everything he should be able to do. Why did Pyra believe in him at all? I've been blessed with incredible talents and opportunities. The scene shifts to the night of the dance. He trained with his friends to do a dumb dance. He tried to get Weiss to dance with him too, surprisingly to him. She even seems to shake a little hearing the words Pyro was saying. Standing on the rooftop in that long red slit dress of hers. She really was beautiful. She was not without her own issues, though. I'm constantly surrounded by love and praise, but when you're placed on a pedestal like that for so long, you become separated from the people that put you there in the first place. Maybe that was when John started to realize, after being given a blunt message, why couldn't he have been more forward then? Everyone assumes I'm too good for them, that I'm on a level that they simply can't attain. It's become impossible to form any sort of meaningful relationships with people. Weiss did put her on a pedestal, just like when she was put on her own from being a fancy desk company. Princess. Maybe it was why Weiss was hoping to get close to her back then. Though at the time, they both wanted different things. Weiss didn't want to have to do anything with Jean. Or Pyra. That's what I like about you. When we met, you didn't even know my name. You treated me like anyone else. And thanks to you, I've made friendships that'll last a lifetime. I guess you're the kind of guy I wish I was here with. Someone who just saw me for me. A soft smile creases Jean's lips. A few tears running off his eyes. Running from his eyes. He could feel Weiss give him another squeeze. Scene shifts to their dance together. The dance, their whole team, with him in a dress. If he could live through those moments again, would it do anything to change them? So, what are we? The scene changes to the festival. In the tournament. The team attack. It was a joking comment back then. That was what John thought. He was just scatterbrained. Maybe because they never had a proper talk after the dance. Maybe John just never wanted to actually have the conversation. Suddenly a wall stands in front of John, and Pyra sits down against it, patting the spot beside her. John looks to Weiss, and she simply nods, letting go of his hand. He walks slowly, a bit unsure, but he sits down beside Pyra, both leaned against the wall. She slips her fingers between his and squeezes at his hand. I've always felt as though I was destined to become a huntress, to protect the world, and it's become increasingly clear to me that my feelings were right. But I don't know if I can do it. If he told her not to, would it have changed things? John squeezes Pyra's hand back and shuts his eyes to wince back some tears. You can do it. It's who you are. No matter what John's answer wouldn't have changed. Pyra smiles at him and puts a hand to his cheek, on his cheek. I'm sorry. Even if an illusion, the kiss felt as real as it did back then. Though as their lips part, Pyra leans back against the wall, not letting go of Jean's hand. This time, there was no pod there to shoot him flying away. Jean. Pyra's eyes soften. It wasn't a memory now. Her words were something else. Even if you're a boy, a girl, have rough experiences changing you, how you view things, suffering through hardships you're not sure how to process. She tilts her hand back to him, and once again caresses his cheek with her hand. I'll always love you. That won't change. John wipes his eyes again, and takes a shaky breath. Wiping away some more tears, he looks Pyra in the eyes. You've been dead a while. You know, it's been hard without you. Ren and Nora, they're still a handful, but they're my teammates. I think we've gotten pretty good together, too. Each word John speaks, he can feel more tears roll off his cheeks. But he keeps going. And yeah, we get into fights sometimes, but we're still friends. We patch things up quick. And you know, it seems like Ren and Nora finally confessed to each other, or something weird. Their relationship is rocky. But guess they're testing things out or something. Gripping the hand and is tighter, John scoots himself closer. Pyra does the same, and even rests her forehead against his, just listening. We're fighting to protect the world, just like you felt you had to do. The maiden power you felt to inherit, even I have that now too. I don't know what it'll mean for me. Maybe you'd call it destiny. But I'm going to try. I won't let it all break me. Pyra lets go of Jean's hand and stands back up. Penny did what she thought she had to. Pyra closes her eyes and holds out her hand to help John up. We can't say what's right or wrong, but you have a duty now. Even if you don't want it, you picked this path. But don't run from it. John grabs the hand and slowly stands back up. The two then share a long stare. Weiss awkwardly rubbing the back of her arm off to the side. John had no idea what to expect from the illusions. Part of him thought Pirate would be trying to strangle him, call him useless. Instead, he stares at her soft smile and gentle eyes. She takes a step back, and then another. Horror is a strange thing. Like Ospen had told me before. Farah's eyes look over to Weiss a moment, then back to John. It can hold memories and personality. It can touch others, and with that machine Oz had, it can even be passed on to others. And just like the maiden power can pass between people, maybe because I awakened your aura way back then, we were able to become that much closer. Maybe even a part of me was passed on to Cinder too. Ira gives a small smirk and takes another step back. John takes a step forward, a bit confused by the words. Even if you don't look like you. Even if you don't look like the you I knew. And even if I don't look like the me. And even if I don't look like me. I'm sure one day we'll see each other again, John. Live for your own happiness. And protect what you want to protect. Not because someone asked you, but because it's what you really want. When all is said and done, I hope I can say hello to you again. Pyra's heeled boot clack off into the purple trees, vanishing from John's sight. He wanted to run after her, but he knew he couldn't. Weiss walks slowly up to John, watching the wall at his side fade to just a normal purple tree. John. Weiss turns her head off toward the direction Pyra left. That was an illusion, right? A small smirk creases John's lips, and he takes Weiss's hand in his own. I don't know. Man, if it was anything else, that would be a good place to end it off, but I sadly could not end it there. The two begin to walk the woods again, only this time John and Weiss both notice the trees do not change. They walk, and finally get to a clearing in the woods, a large grassy spot the sun beats down on. Standing there, the trees around them shake and quiver. The branches from the trees lift into the air, forming a large web of branches to blotch out the sun's beams. I won't blotch. Is blotch not a real word? Block out the sun's beams. Weiss and John stare stunned. All around them, the shadows begin to make a pattern under their feet. They stand in the center of an oddly shaped circle with different markings within it. Then they see it, up on a high tree. The creature's eyes and mouth smile down at them. With a wink of its eyes, suddenly the ground around them changes from a grassy blue to pitch black. Weiss and John feel their legs sink into the pit. No! Weiss yelps, squeezing onto John. John holds her. Just as tight, making sure she does not get separated from him. Darkness. They had sunk into the pit, and all around them appears a void. John could not tell if they were falling or floating, or moving at all. Falling, floating, or moving at all. He could not see Weiss either, only feel her grip around him. It was the way back home. Would he get there? If it was the way back home, how would he get there? John thinks about the words the creature. What did a home really mean? Weiss. He grips the girl tightly. I'll get us out of here. Trust me. John's heart, his feelings, his regrets, sorrows, the things that had brought him joy. He cared about plenty of things. He was a teenager with an impressionable mind. Of course, plenty would stick out. John rubs at his butt, and Weiss slowly opens her eyes. They could both hear it, the sound of construction workers, people clearing rubble and rebuilding. The sky was blue, the moon up. The sky was blue. No. The sky was starry. The moon up. Why? In that moon. The sky was starry, the moon up, and a large hole in that moon broken from it. Weiss rubs at her eyes. Weiss rubs her eyes and stands up. John dusts himself off as well, looking at the roof with a faint smile. John? John, is this Beacon? Weiss shakes her head and grabs onto both his shoulders. No, the important thing is... This is actually real, right? We're back? John's eyes wander over the rooftop balcony. So many days he would train with Pyra right here, even if parts of it were crumbling now. It's what stuck in his head the easiest. At his home, he tended to be teased and ignored. At Beacon, he just wanted to prove that he could do something. He never thought he would actually make real friends, meet people, meet her. Yeah, we're back. And then instant depression. No. I think it's a nice end. I think it's a very lovely end. Very heartfelt. Okay. Well, I'm gonna post. Yeah, I'm gonna post this to my Patreon. I didn't make a December update, did I? I'm gonna have to do that. I don't want to edit it. It's provocative short stories. What do I need to edit? I think I had a tagline that said stories that was like lowercase, and I don't want that. Oh no, did it get rid of my formatting? It's kind of important to the story. The Maiden's Curse. Not really TG, it's just sort of a story. It's just sort of an actual story. I guess I'll mark it as TG anyway. Let me make sure I get this up right. A lot of dripping. Sopping wet. I'll have to make a new little doodle pop. Let's see. Vector to heaven's always good. Always good. Always some good vector to heaven, right? Dun, 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 dun. Huh. Weird. Wait, is it saying my audio is messed up? Maximum audio bitrate, 160 kilobytes. 0 is lower. Why is it lower? Oh well, I don't know. I can worry about that some other dime. Yeah, I can worry about it some other dime. So yeah, I think I might make a part 2 to this. Don't know if I actually will, but just in case. Not sure if I will write more to it or not, but I had fun writing that story, so I think I might actually make another part to it. That not being capitalized will bother me. But for now, I finished all of that up. So that's pretty PogChamp. I would like to start learning Blender still. I wasn't sure how long this would take me. That took like 2 hours to proofread the whole thing. But it was like 20 pages, so I guess I kind of figured that it would take that long. For now, I think I will hop off stream, and I haven't done my exercise yet, so I think I should probably try and take care of that. It always feels bad when you don't take care of it right away. Via Yahoo Japan. That's funny. Who uses 2 laptops to make a game? That seems very inconvenient. Huh. Well, anyway, for anyone who might have dropped in, thanks for peeking. Or not. I don't know. I'm not your mom. But I am gonna go for now. I think... jeez. I still need to catch up on so much different stuff. I really need to get to Digimon again. I need to get to Digimon again still. And I need to learn Blender. Anyone know how to make a cave in Blender? Didn't think so. I still need to make a meat cave. Hopefully I can focus on meat cave tomorrow. I would like to dedicate some time to meat cave. Would be goal of my life. But yeah, I'm gonna go for now. So catch you later. Bye.